Some stories stay with you. The ones that make you glance over your shoulder, check the doors locked a second time, or laugh a little too loudly in the dark. That's the world of Kill Me Maybe. Every month, hosts Mac and Des unravel true crime, strange mysteries, and eerie tales that linger long after the episode ends. They're the ghouls next door, not detectives, but sharp enough to ask the questions and cheeky enough to keep it fun. Spooky season never ends here. Subscribe to Kill Me Maybe wherever you get your podcasts. Mac and Des are waiting, and you don't want to keep them waiting. Canadian Creepies is recorded on the traditional lands of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, under the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. These lands and waters have been cared for since long before Canada existed, and they remain deeply important to Indigenous communities today. As we tell stories about darkness, injustice, and memory, I want to acknowledge the very real histories of colonization, violence, and erasure that Indigenous peoples continue to endure. A land acknowledgement can't undo that harm, but it is a reminder to keep listening, learning, and supporting in truth and reconciliation in meaningful ways. We share these stories not to forget, but to shine light, always with respect for peoples and nations whose land we live on. Canadian Creepies covers true crime, dark history, and disturbing events. Some episodes may include graphic descriptions or sensitive subject matter. We do our best to handle every story with care and respect for those affected. That said, we sometimes use humor and sarcasm as a way to process heavy content, never to disrespect victims, survivors, or their families. Listener discretion is advised. A demented serial killer who fed his victims to pigs. A monster who claimed he was disappointed with himself that he had only killed 49 and did not make the big 50. In 2001, Robert Pickton was charged with murdering 26 women at his pig farm in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia.
I have family members who partied with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Then I definitely picked...
This was a good one.
This is a good one.
This is a good one.
Welcome to the first episode of Canadian Creepies. Ooh. I am one of your co-hosts. I'm Val.
And I'm Al.
And we want to be on
The Real World. That was a good one.
That was really good. We didn't even practice that.
No, we didn't. But I just feel like it's in our blood to be on that show, even though it doesn't exist anymore.
We're really aging ourselves with that. For those of you who don't know, look up The Real World.
We're 40.
Yeah, we're 47.
Yeah.
No, Real World was a really good reality show on MTV. And Ali and I, at one point, when we were 18 or 19, when we lived togetder, we were like,
we looked up how to apply. We looked up, sat on the couch, did mock videotapes of how we would apply. And then I don't think we ever applied.
We did not apply. And it's good that times. We didn't. But now we're here.
Yeah, now we're here.
We've decided
Canadian Creepies.
With the Canadian Creepies. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to hop right into it. Because we're on episode 1. Yeah.
I have no idea what is going to be talked about. I kind of sit blindsided until Val brings it up. This was planned. I don't want to know. And if I ever talk about anything, she would never know. So I didn't know we were talking about this guy. I have some cool input on this case that I can bring in later because I just had BC family down from my fiance's side who kind of gave me some of their... This is really weird that you're doing
What are
this
the
case.
chances?
What are the chances?
I'm actually dying over here. It was meant to be. And, we knew it was meant to be when we were doing the cash today. And it was 222, then 333, and then naturally 555. It was really weird.
Cash meaning our bookwork at the end of our shift.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We don't know if we'll disclose where we work yet or not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Okay, so I'm going to get into it. So Robert Pickton was formally convicted on six charges and sentenced to life in prison. He claimed to have killed 49 women, and his case was the largest serial killer investigation in Canadian history. It was also a flashpoint in the wider issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. And in 2012, a government inquiry found that blatant failures by police led to a tragedy of epic proportions. And for those of our listeners who don't know, missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls refers to a human rights crisis that has only recently become a topic of discussion within Canadian national media. Indigenous women and communities, women's groups, and international organizations have long called for action into the high and disproportionate rates of violence and the appalling numbers of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in Canada. Prior to the launch of the National Public Inquiry on December 8th, 2015, these calls were continually ignored by the federal government. Described by some as a hidden crisis, Dawn Laval-Harvard, former president of the Native Women's Association of Canada, refers to MMIWG as a national tragedy and a national shame. So I thought we'd start where any serial killer starts, in his childhood. In his childhood. Always. So you guessed it. He was raised on the pig farm he was arrested at.
But wait, can I say?
Yeah.
Not all serial killers have fucked up childhoods.
That's true.
I feel like a lot of them do, but then I feel like it's even crazier when you come across one that actually was brought up, quite, had everything provided, blah, 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 blah. But maybe they were like adopted in or... Anyways, it's just one of those things.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that is not the case with Robert Pickton, let me tell you. And yeah, spoiler alert, the police do get their shit together and they do catch this guy.
Yeah.
Pickton ran a small livestock operation in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. He was socially awkward and was known to act strangely. He was born on October 24th, 1949, to Leonard Francis Pickton, who was born 1896, and Louise Helene Arnold, who was born in 1912. So I do just want to note that I did the math, there is a 16-year age difference between his parents.
Yuck.
Yeah, that's not a great start. So Louise was probably married to Leonard right when she turned 16, if that, but I don't know that for sure. Port Coquitlam, for those of you who don't know, is 27 kilometers or 17 miles east of Vancouver. He has two siblings, Linda Louise Wright and David Francis Pickton. Robert's older sister, Linda, was sent off to live with relatives in Vancouver when they were all kids, as their parents thought that the family pig farm would be an appropriate setting to raise a young girl. And I agree.
Yeah. Not ideal.
Not ideal for a young girl, no. And I would imagine, I'm sure, I'll read a little bit more. Robert and his younger brother, David, began working at the farm at an early age, and their mother was very demanding. And she would prioritize the pigs over the brothers' personal hygiene, forcing them to work long hours raising the farm's livestock.
Ugh, must have smelled great.
Yeah, well, here we go. She often sent the brothers to school in unwashed, dirty clothes, reeking of manure, earning them the nicknames Stinky Piggies from their classmates.
Nice.
So, that's not great.
Yeah.
Robert was strongly attached to her and rarely interacted with his abusive father. He struggled in school, being put in special classes after failing grade 2. And at the age of 12, this part's kind of sad. At the age of 12, he began raising a calf, which had become his beloved pet. And 2 weeks later, after not finding it after school, he was told to check the barn and was distraught to find it slaughtered. Mm. So it's very interesting when you're going into the history of serial killers, because they were all... Or this guy was once a kid, and it's so sad.
I know.
Just to hear, you don't want to have sympathy, but when you hear how they're raised.
I think you could, there's a fine line. It's obviously they've done horrendous acts that, are just disgusting and unforgivable, but they were babies and innocent at one point themselves.
Yeah.
And probably subjected to things that,
just horrible things, horrible things I couldn't research on the internet.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Even if they weren't subjected physically, maybe witnessed, maybe,
Definitely. If his father was abusive, that's towards his mother, probably the brothers.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to go into the pig farm a little bit. Yeah. So Pickton dropped out of school, Robert. He dropped out of school in 1963 and began working as a meat cutter. He continued to do so for nearly 7 years before leaving to work full-time at the farm. Okay. In 1978 and 1979, his parents died and the siblings inherited the pig farm, selling parts for up to $5.16 million.
Not bad.
Nice chunk of change.
Not bad.
Worker Bill Hiscox, and I want you to remember that name because he comes up again. Bill Hiscox.
Bill Hiscox.
And hi, Richard.
Yeah, Richard.
Richard is my cat.
He's purring right behind me right now.
Richard Michael Hatt. Okay, so Bill called the farm like a creepy looking place, and it was patrolled by a 600-pound boar.
Not a small boar.
Not a small boar. And I tried to, like, when I was researching this episode.
600-pound life, but my 600-pound boar.
Yeah, my 600-pound boar. Tune in. I tried to, like, Google, like a picture of a 600-pound boar, but none looked threatening enough for me to use for like a social media post about this.
I think like boars are more like, isn't there? Oh, it's wild boars.
Wild boars have
boar
the
hunting
tusks.
is like yeah, and they can be vile.
Yeah,
Yes,
very violent.
So 600 pounds.
Yeah, so there was a 600-pound boar.
I'm staying out of your way.
That patrolled the farm to make sure, you know.
Hopefully he had like a hat on.
Yeah.
Maybe like
he's like, do not enter today, sir. So Bill Hiscox described Pickton as a pretty quiet guy, hard to strike up a conversation with, whose occasional bizarre behavior, despite no evidence of substance abuse, would draw attention. And I wrote, my note next to that was, so he was an odd guy while sober. No booze needed for the creep factor.
Oh God, you know it's bad then.
You know it's bad when
it's bad.
Oh my goodness. They had begun to neglect the site's farming operations and registered a non-profit charity called the Piggy Palace Good Times Society with the Canadian government in 1996.
Piggy Palace.
And
nice.
And that's probably where you said,
like, family members partied?
Yeah, because I'll continue.
Yeah, continue on with that, and then I can maybe tie things together.
Claiming, so Robert and David claimed that the Piggy Palace Good Time Society organized, coordinates, managed, and operated special events, functions, dances, shows, and exhibitions on behalf of service organizations, sports organizations, and other worthy groups. Its events included raves and wild parties featuring Vancouver's sex workers and gatherings in a converted slaughterhouse on a farm at 953 Dominion Avenue in Port Coquitlam.
Okay.
So that's the address. I mean, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, no.
These events attracted as many as 2,000 people, and members from the Hells Angels were known to frequent the farm.
This is it.
Yeah. And then the Pickton brothers were eventually sued by Port Coquitlam officials for violating zoning ordinances and neglecting the agriculture for which it had been zoned and having altered a farm building on the land of purpose of holding dances, concerts, and other recreations. So they essentially didn't get the correct zoning at all for their Piggy Good Time Palace.
No. Oh my God. I can only imagine what the land looked like after one of these like shindigs.
Yeah. Probably not great. The Pickton brothers ignored growing legal pressure and held this. So this is sort of where it all comes to a halt.
Okay.
The Pickton brothers ignored growing legal pressure and held a 1998 New Year's Eve party, after which they were faced with an injunction banning future parties, and the police were authorized to arrest and remove any person attending future events at the farm. And the society's nonprofit status was removed the following year for inability to produce financial statements, and it was disbanded.
Yeah, I feel like any type of like organized like statements or like, I just feel like they're not organized people.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't see walking into one of their pads like any type of filing system of, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like the Pickton brothers?
Yeah, the Pickton brothers.
Oh, you don't think they had receipts?
No receipts. Yeah, and maybe crumpled up like gas station receipts at the bottom of like a cigarette filled booze bottle.
Yeah. No, but he was sober.
Okay. I still don't see them being like
organized people.
And
they weren't.
I'm like actually flabbergasted that the government wanted to work with them. Like, I don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just being biased.
They didn't really want to work with them. So it's not that they wanted to work with them.
Or they wanted to.
They just registered. They registered it with the Canadian government.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they just claimed. They lied to the Canadian government.
But what did the Canadian government? What was it going to get out of it? Anything?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. I don't know why I thought they did. Okay.
No.
Go ahead.
I liked where you were going with that, though.
Ali just needs to be reminded a couple times of like the path that we're on right now.
That's okay. It's all good. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the investigation a little bit.
Yeah. I've heard this story a couple of times through different outlets, each told in different ways, but I'm always fascinated by the investigation part. And I always forget. So like I never remember it, but I'm always, in every case, I love hearing about the investigation steps and like were the cops and anybody involved, because some of them are like they forget the most important things to look for.
Some of the most, in some of the biggest serial killer cases.
Yeah. Or like,
oh, you're going to see it
destroy evidence that, you know.
Yeah. Or don't take claims seriously.
Yes, exactly.
So and in this case specifically, the Vancouver police refused to say that a serial killer were at work. A serial killer was at work. Mm-hmm. There were no bodies, and an investigation would have strained police resources. Many complained of police apathy. So they were like, the police just don't care about all of these people disappearing. The Vancouver Sun accused the police of not pursuing crimes committed against sex trade workers. And for those listening who don't know, the Vancouver Sun is Vancouver's largest daily newspaper.
Okay, cool. The Sun, yeah.
Yeah. Now, so with this investigation and how I did my research, it's sort of going to, we all know he gets arrested, so it's sort of going to go a little, you'll be able to follow it.
Yeah, and I'm curious as to how long it takes for him to be arrested.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you're going to love this. On March 22nd, 1997, a woman came forward claiming that she managed to escape the clutches of a man named Robert Pickton who attempted to kill her. Although Pickton was charged with attempted murder, assault with a weapon, and forcible confinement, the charges were dropped because the woman, due to her drug addiction, was not considered a reliable witness. Pickton argued that the woman attacked him, not the other way around. So he used his sobriety. So he purposefully, as a sober guy, would go into, and I'll speak about it in a little bit, it's called Low Track. It's like Vancouver. It's like the Skid Row of Vancouver. It's where like a lot of vulnerable people are, a lot of addicts, and anyway. So he would go there sober.
Sorry,
that's okay. It's
do you know which one I'm talking about?
Maine and Hastings or something.
Hastings is what I'm thinking of. I drove down that once.
But they call it Pain and Hastings.
Depressing.
Oh my goodness.
To witness. Yeah, it's really bad.
I can only imagine. Okay, it didn't take long for Pickton's name to resurface, though.
Okay, wait. Sorry.
That's okay.
You said that he would use his sobriety.
That's what I think. Think about it. So he's a sober
conniving.
Guy. He's a sober guy. It says there's no despite like all witnesses, people who knew him, or like despite not using any substances, he was still like quite an odd, creepy guy.
Yes.
So
he would target like vulnerable
folks, like addicts,
and
like he would, and sex workers, and he was completely sober, and then they would be under the influence, right? So
that's actually kind of smart.
Well, yeah,
like I wouldn't think that he would come across as
that's a layer.
Yeah. Okay.
He's like, I'll just stay sober so I can be a better murderer.
Yeah, and also, use that against them because they'll have evidence that they in fact were under the influence of something, and I wasn't.
Well, it just said, she escaped him,
right?
And that was good. She escaped him, and the charges were dropped because she was considered an unreliable witness, just because she was an addict. So
wow.
Well, so she almost didn't get killed because she's on drugs right now.
Okay.
Understood.
Oh my God.
Understood. In the spring of 1999, an informant told the Vancouver police that friend Lynn Ellingsen, so Robert Pickton's friend Lynn Ellingsen, had seen a woman's body hanging at Robert Pickton's farm. Police brought Ellingsen in for questioning, but she denied ever seeing such a thing.
Okay.
Weird. Later, she confessed that she had in fact seen a body, but feared Pickton might hurt her.
I feel like that's just something like I saw it and then I didn't see it. It's like, it's not like saying like, I think I saw like a cigarette pack on his counter earlier.
Yeah.
Like a body.
Yeah. A hanging body.
A hanging
But then
body.
she said, so I think she did actually see it, and he just scared the
1,000,000% she saw it.
1,000,000%.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't think, unless you're under the influence of something like hallucinogenic or like whatever, but I think if you think you saw a hanging body,
you probably did.
You
hear that? If you think you saw a hanging body, you probably did.
Or maybe like a hanging towel or like hanging t-shirt or something. But I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just very bizarre. Okay. Keep going.
Okay. Ellingsen also told police that she depended on Pickton for drugs.
Okay.
There we go again.
Alrighty.
There we go again. See, so he's good at picking the addicts.
He wants the addicts.
Yeah, definitely.
Because anyone in a sober mindset would be they'd pick up on things that
on subtle nuances.
Exactly.
Yeah. What's an example? I don't know. We don't know.
But like,
a sober person, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll edit that out.
Yeah. Sober, too smart, and too like, I mean,
if you're sober, you're less likely to get murdered, is what we're saying. But that's not even true. I take it back. Kyle's gonna have to edit that out.
Also, if you, I can't. Also, if you are under the influence and you are like an addict of some sort, or you're doing like, I think in some of their minds, they would look at it as you are less likely to be cared about if I kill you.
Exactly.
Because, you know what I mean? I think that's an obvious, like I think anybody who listens to true crime they probably have already picked up on that.
Exactly.
But it's just something
to
to
be
note
less
as well.
fuss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you go missing, people are going to notice.
Because,
Who's going to pay me?
Yeah.
You know?
Right?
Richard. These statements are confirmed in the trial. Okay, so what I'm about to read to you were confirmed in the trial. Ellingsen appeared as a witness for Crown prosecutors in Pickton's trial, describing gruesome details of her experience with Pickton, which included living at his pig farm in Port Coquitlam, performing odd jobs for him, doing drugs there, and on one occasion driving around with the serial killer to find a sex worker. She testified she later saw the sex worker dead in Pickton's barn where he slaughtered the pigs.
Oh my God.
I know. In 1999, a 37-year-old man named Bill Hiscox, who worked for Pickton, you remember him?
Yes.
From just a little bit earlier.
Yes, Bill Hiscox.
He reached out to the RCMP, otherwise known as the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and he claimed that Pickton's friend had told him she had seen women's clothes, purses, and IDs, like an ID papers at the pig farm.
Yeah, that's once you see ID papers.
Yeah.
That's kind of sketch.
But to everyone's disappointment, once again, the reports led nowhere, as police could not obtain a search warrant based on hearsay. They required an eyewitness or physical evidence. It took 3 more years for a big break in the case to come. So this is now 2001.
Okay, 2001.
Yeah. So
it's crazy what it takes to
and all this time he's still killing people.
Yes.
Women. Sorry, not people, women.
I don't actually think there is a calculated actual like number. There could be so many more than what's actually documented.
Yeah. Well, he claims, yeah.
Oh, he claims?
He claims to have killed 49.
49, okay. It's very specific.
Yeah. Well, he wanted, because he was upset he didn't kill 50.
Right. Okay.
A common problem with sex workers that are missing are that the people who knew them best are reluctant to give information for fear of being arrested.
Right.
There's a serious lack of compliance with the police, which I totally understand.
I completely understand, and I wouldn't actually necessarily think of that. So you forget that, yeah.
Right?
People that know them best are also probably addicts and maybe dealers, maybe, Yeah.
One suspect considered for these murders was 36-year-old, so here's another suspect, was 36-year-old Michael Leopold, who had been arrested in 1996 for assaulting a low-track sex worker, beating her and trying to force a rubber ball down her throat.
Nice.
A passerby heard the woman scream and frightened Leopold away. He surrendered to police 3 days later. So the police determined it couldn't have been Michael because he had been in custody since then and held in lieu of bond while he awaited trial.
For something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
But with disappearances dating back to the mid-1980s, any sadist with a propensity for attacking sex workers rated a closer look. He told a court-appointed psychiatrist about his fantasies of kidnapping and raping sex workers, but insisted the 1996 assault was his only real-life action. Investigators absolved him of those crimes.
Okay.
So even though he fantasized about doing it a lot, it was only that one.
Okay.
Only that one time. Barry Thomas Niedermeyer was also a suspect in this case. He was a 43-year-old Albertan man convicted in 1990 of pimping a 14-year-old girl.
That's lovely.
Gross.
Niedermeyer.
Yeah, Niedermeyer. He left prison with a grudge against sex workers. How does that work out?
Okay. Sounds like Niedermeyer needs some prison time.
That's right. And he was jailed again in 1995 for selling contraband cigarettes.
Contraband cigarettes.
From his Vancouver tobacco shop. That's really funny. So he had a tobacco shop and he's still selling contraband.
Horrible human being.
Yeah. In April of 2000, Vancouver police charged Niedermeyer with violent attacks on 7 low-track sex workers. The charges against him include assault, kidnapping, sexual assault, robbery, unlawful confinement, and administering a noxious substance. Noxious means harmful, poisonous, or very unpleasant.
I was just going to ask.
Yeah, I knew it.
Noxious.
So it means harmful, poisonous, or very unpleasant. So
Well, like
administering a noxious substance. So he... Could be anything.
Yeah, it could be.
Could be Drano.
Could be Drano.
None of his alleged victims were drawn from the Vancouver missing list, though. Throughout the investigation, he remained a person of interest.
Okay.
Police were having suspects described to them without names or addresses. And on August 10th, 2001, Vancouver police announced their search for an unidentified rapist who attacked a 38-year-old victim outside her low-track hotel a week earlier. During the attack, a man claimed responsibility for sexually assaulting and killing other women in the downtown east side. The victim escaped by leaping from her rapist's car. She offered a description to authorities, and the guy remained at large. Leaped from his car.
Leaped.
Having leapt from his car.
Leapt. Like, I'm thinking, when you say leapt from the car, I'm thinking like you're holding on to the steering wheel, but your feet are like where you would like get out of the car. And then
in your mind, is she driving?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just picturing anybody.
Oh, okay.
You're holding onto the steering wheel. Your feet are like in the part where you get out. So you're balancing yourself and then you let go of the steering wheel and you leap.
That's how you picture it?
Yeah, like a unicorn. Like just like with their feet projecting themselves. And it's like, that's obviously not what happens, but I wish
think of like a tuck and roll situation.
Yeah, I feel like that's more realistic. Yeah.
Downtown Eastside Youth Activities Society maintained a bad date file with page after page of reports of local sex workers who had been threatened or injured by nameless Johns. These incidents range from verbal abuse to beatings and stabbings. Just because the ladies choose sex work doesn't mean you got to abuse them.
Yeah, I know.
Be nice. They're sharing their body with you. They're offering it to you for a nice and fair price. Be nice to them.
Well, it's like... that just makes me also think of that movie Monster, which was based on a...
Yeah, Charlize Theron.
Shit was beat out of her.
Yeah.
Absolute shit was beat out of her.
In 1998, task force detectives got their best lead yet from 37-year-old Bill Hiscox. Old Bill's back again.
Billy.
Yeah, that's a nice mug. You like that?
Love it. Val's child is all over this mug. It's almost like a Mother's Day mug, maybe?
It is. I think it was Mother's Day or Christmas.
Very cute child. Very cute mother.
From my ex-husband's new wife. She's lovely.
That's great. You don't hear that often.
No, you don't. So Bill Hiscox.
Billy.
So it looks like I did some research into Bill a little bit too. So
Niedermeyer, Hiscox. Liking these last names.
Yeah, no, they're good. Hiscox had been widowed 2 years earlier, which is actually really sad.
That's really sad.
Yeah, and he coped using drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
I feel that. He was rescued from his downhill spiral when his foster sister found him a job at P&V Salvage in Surrey, which is like southeast of Vancouver. And the proprietors or owners of the business were Robert William Willie Pickton and his brother David of Port Coquitlam.
Okay.
Hiscock's foster sister was Robert Pickton's on and off again girlfriend in 1997. Like, poor Hiscox, his wife died, and then his family's giving him just the worst advice.
Absolute worst advice.
Horrible, horrible. So he picked up his paychecks at the brothers' Port Coquitlam pig farm. Hiscox had grown concerns over the Picktons after seeing reports of all of Vancouver's missing women. And Robert Pickton was a quiet guy who was hard to strike up a conversation with. He drove a converted bus with deeply tinted windows.
Kind of cool. I mean, horrible.
Right.
But like, I just see a lot of
like,
TikToks about converted buses, and it's actually really neat.
Yeah, it's a vibe. Hiscox told the police that the bus was Willie's pride and joy. He wouldn't part with it for anything. So his name was Robert Pickton, but his nickname was Willie.
Okay.
Willie or Dick. Okay,
I'm like,
so
in one of these comments, converted bus, really cool, ... maybe not, LOL.
I like that.
You can edit that out too.
Okay. According to Hiscox, the special events that happened at Piggy Palace, a converted building at the Hog Barn that we talked about earlier, were drunken raves that featured entertainment by an ever-changing cast of downtown East Side sex workers. Police were already familiar with the Pickton brothers. David Francis Pickton, Robert's brother, had been convicted of a sexual assault in 1992. And when that happened, he was fined $1,000 and given 30 days probation. I would like to know if that $1,000 went to the victim.
That
and is
like,
that the price of women? That's what we get for being raped. $1,000.
I feel like $1,000 is more than what rape victims get in 2024.
Yeah,
is that not like accurate?
I don't know.
$1,000.
But we don't. I don't even know if this. I would have to look into it further. I don't even know if that $1,000.
I know we do have harsh punishments, but
yeah.
I just feel like that's kind of impressive for that time. I feel like
he was fined $1,000, but he was fined $1,000. That doesn't say he was made to pay reparations.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that just means he had to give the.
I just hear about you hear about the Brock Turner,
yeah,
who raped multiple girls and slap on the wrist,
mm-hmm.
Could have gotten off with so much I don't think he had to pay $1,000, or did he?
I don't know.
All I know is
I remember that case, but no, he got off because his dad was friends with the judge or something. They were in the same fraternity, but I don't think it was multiple. I just want to, before someone leaves a comment, it wasn't Brock Turner. It wasn't multiple women. It was he.
We can just edit that out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I'll leave it in.
Okay.
Brock Turner was the. I'll leave that in.
He was
too.
the dumpster
behind the dumpster, and he raped someone with a foreign object. I believe it was a stick, and that's awful, horrible. But she had a great victim impact statement.
Fantastic.
Just very, very impactful.
My point is, I just feel like $1,000 that he had to pay back in the day.
Yeah, that's a lot in 1992. You are right. Yeah.
And in 2024, you hear about horrible things happening, and we should, in place, have harsh punishments, and it just feels like we don't still.
Yeah, we don't.
And how many years has gone boy? Has gone boy.
How many years has gone boy?
We should have harsher punishments. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. David's victim told the police she had been attacked by him in his trailer on his pig farm, but she managed to escape when a third party came in and distracted him. Port Coquitlam authorities sought an order to destroy one of David Pickton's dogs in April of 1998 under the Livestock Protection Act, but the proceedings were dismissed without explanation. David had also been sued 3 times for damages resulting from traffic accidents in 1988 and 1991, and he settled all 3 claims out of court.
Okay.
We're going to go back to the Piggy Palace here because I think I have some new information here. Soon after the Piggy Palace or just a little bit more in-depth information. Soon after the Piggy Palace opened, the Pickton brothers and their sister Linda found themselves in court again, sued by Port Coquitlam officials for allegedly violating city zoning ordinances.
Okay.
According to the complaint, their property was zoned for agricultural use. They had altered a large farm building on the land for the purpose of holding dances, concerts, and other recreations that sometimes drew as many as 1,800 people. Can you imagine like 1,800 lawless people on one property?
I can't even.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
You. Yeah, you. Still haunting the same old fast fashion? Time to dig up something better with Back from the Dead Goods, a Canadian small business where forgotten threads get a second life and sustainability meets spooky. This isn't just upcycled clothing. It's resurrected fashion with an eerie edge. Handpicked, reworked, and revived, every piece is as unique as a ghost story whispered at midnight. And because you're a part of the Canadian Creepies family, you get an exclusive deal. Use code Canadian Creepies at checkout for 10% off. Find them lurking on Instagram, Etsy, and Poshmark. Links are in the episode description. Give your wardrobe a second chance at life, if you dare. Hey creeps, it's Valerie here, and if you're anything like us, you love capturing a moment, whether it's spooky, sweet, or somewhere delightfully in between. Let me introduce you to our go-to for stunning shots, darkroom photography, based right here in the heart of the Niagara region. Mel, the brilliant eye behind the lens, is a lifestyle and creative photographer who brings a little bit of magic and maybe a touch of mystery to every session. She's got all her prices listed right on her website, super transparent, no tricks, and she runs killer seasonal specials around Mother's Day, Halloween, Christmas, and more. I'm telling you, her Halloween sessions, creepy perfection. So, if you're in the Niagara area and looking to capture memories that are hauntingly beautiful, hit up Mel at mel@darkroomphotography.ca or check out her work at www.darkroomphotography.ca. That's Darkroom Photography, where your memories come to life, even in the dark. Looking for your next obsession? The Creators Collective Podcasts is your gateway to the dark, the chilling, and the downright fascinating. We're a community of independent podcasts with one goal: to share the best in true crime, paranormal tales, folklore, and unexplained mysteries. Whether you crave cold cases that won't stay closed, haunted histories that refuse to be forgotten, or stories that make you sleep with the lights on, there's a show waiting for you in the collective. And when you join us, you're not just listening to one podcast. You're stepping into a world of creators who love this stuff as much as you do. Check out the Creators Collective today. Follow the link in our show notes to discover your next favorite podcast. We'll be waiting for you. Support reproductive justice in Niagara. Niagara Reproductive Justice is a grassroots collective based in the Niagara region of Ontario, working to increase visibility and access to sexual and reproductive health care. They support people seeking abortion and other essential care by offering transportation, financial assistance, logistical help, and emotional support. Here's how you can help. You can make a one-time donation. Send an e-transfer to niagarareproductivejustice@gmail.com. Your support helps cover costs like gas for volunteer drivers, overnight stays, childcare, and other urgent needs. You can also support monthly via Patreon. Join their Patreon and support the cause month to month. It's patreon.com/Niagara Reproductive Justice. And you can volunteer your time. NRJ is always looking for volunteers to help with driving, outreach, admin support, and community organizing. If you're looking to make a real impact in the Niagara region, this is a great place to start. Contact them via email or DM them on Instagram or Facebook to learn more. You can find them on Instagram at Niagara Reproductive Justice and on Facebook at Niagara Reproductive Justice. Help amplify access to reproductive care right here in our own backyard. Whether you donate, volunteer, or spread the word, you're a part of the movement. And after New Year's Eve 1998, the Picktons were slapped with a court order banning them from holding any future events, as we talked about earlier. In March of 1997, Robert Pickton was charged with the attempted murder of an addict, sex worker, Wendy Lynn I. Statter, who he stabbed several times in a wild melee at the pig farm. Okay. She told police that Pickton handcuffed and attacked her on March 23rd. She escaped by disarming and stabbing him with his own knife.
Wow.
Way to go, Wendy.
That's impressive.
That is impressive. A driver found her along the highway at 1:45 a.m., took her to the nearest emergency room while Pickton sought care for his stab wound
This is like,
at Eagle Ridge Hospital, and he was released on a $2,000 bond.
This is like Leatherface vibes.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. He's just like wildly stabbing.
Yeah.
And that's so
like creepy house, creepy farm, creepy.
Yes.
Like picked up on the highway, like out in the middle of nowhere. Like I'm just thinking Leatherface.
Totally.
Yeah. Creepy family. Yeah.
Yeah. Creepy, like weird pig family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's giving Chainsaw Massacre kind of movie set vibes.
Yes.
But real life, which is even scarier.
Yes, it is. So now we're going to talk a little bit. Now I'm going to get into the victims a bit. Okay. And we're going to talk about Low Track. So downtown East Vancouver is called Low Track. It's Vancouver's Skid Row. Low Track is the heart of British Columbia's rock bottom drug scene, with 5,000 to 20,000 addicted people at any given point. It's described as a 10-block urban wasteland. Low-track women occupants are usually sex workers. And the main intersection that you were asking me about earlier is Main and Hastings.
Hastings is the street I was thinking of.
But it's more commonly referred to as Pain and Wastings.
Pain and Wastings. That's really sad. Okay.
So, that is prime space for a serial killer.
Oh, it's probably like kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
Driving down there.
Yeah.
All the potential.
For real.
Yeah. Of all ages, I'm sure, too.
Yeah.
Which is even more sad.
And in the 90s.
Oh, my gosh. Like, could get away with so much more.
Yeah. So in
question.
Okay.
When did CODIS come to exist?
CODIS?
Well, that's how that's how a number of serial killers have been brought to justice.
But is that American, though?
Well, it's just the DNA.
1990.
Okay, so CODIS.
But that's,
maybe it is American.
Yeah, it is.
But, yeah, that's right. We're talking about a Canadian case. I was just curious in general because back then, before the 90s, even in America, where you hear of a lot of these serial killer podcast episodes, like they're based on an American serial killer for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many would have been able to get away and still would have been able to get away with it even to this day had CODIS have not been introduced.
Totally.
So
I wonder if we have a Canadian equivalent. I'll have to look into that. So in 1995, 73% of downtown Vancouver sex workers entered the sex trade as children, and the same percent were unwed mothers. I mean, whether or not marriage is a thing.
Right.
It's just a construct. In 1998, they averaged one drug overdose death a day, and at the time, that was the highest in Canadian history. Sex workers began to disappear in 1983 from Low Track. So this is like when not just Robert Pickton started. Like that's when Robert Pickton started, but also like other people were active at this time too.
Right.
And by the time police noticed the trend, literally 14 years later, more than 24 had already disappeared without a trace.
That's insane.
So they were disappearing for 14 years before the police noticed a trend.
Notice or maybe even cared?
Yeah.
Maybe they still didn't care.
That's right. Well, sex work is precarious and workers do tend to change their names and addresses for their own safety. And that makes it more difficult for police to keep track for any length of time. And as well, they were unsure if these workers were leaving on their own accord or if it was foul play. So because they're changing their names, they're not sure if, they're just moving back home or whatever. Getting clean. They didn't know. They had no idea what was happening to these people. And Pickton was familiar with the downtown east side. He disposed of animal parts at the rendering plant there, and he would offer women money and drugs and often took women back to his farm. Again, he's a sober guy. He has no substance use issues, but he's offering these women drugs. Just goes to show how manipulative and like what a monster he was. Between 1978 and 2001, at least 65 women, mostly sex workers, began disappearing from the downtown east side in Vancouver. With rumors of a serial killer at large beginning to spread, sex workers began walking in groups and writing down the license plates of cars that picked up women.
Okay.
Which is like good for them.
Good for them, yeah.
The disappearances continued, but the Vancouver police denied the serial killer theory as no bodies were ever found.
Okay.
They were like, no bodies, no problem.
And it also goes back to
Not caring.
And them being like, I even feel like today, in today's day and age, like, oh my God, like on to the next one.
Yeah.
Like they're dead, like under the, like just, they're not important.
Yeah.
We've got more important, like wealthier families that need our help, not this low life drug addict that even though they're someone's child, brother, sister, or cousin, or anyone that we don't care.
Yeah.
Because they're drug addicts or they're prostitutes. Like
Exactly. And that
so sad.
That is still a trend with
Oh,
police.
I feel like it's even worse now,
Yeah.
but because the drug epidemic is horrible.
Yeah. Especially from around where we are.
Yeah. It's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. The disappearances continued. I just said this, but the Vancouver police. Okay. So now we're going to name some names. Rebecca Gunno. And my apologies to any families listening if I do say these last names wrong. I will happily issue an apology and a correction with the correct pronunciation. Rebecca Gunno was 23, and she was last seen alive June 22nd, 1983.
Okay.
Sherry Rail, 43, disappeared January 1984 and wasn't reported missing until 1987. Elaine Auerbach, 33, she told her friends she was moving to Seattle in March of 1986, but never arrived, and she was reported missing in mid-April. Teresa Ann Williams, 26, she was Indigenous, and was last seen July 1988, and she was reported missing March 1989. Ingrid Soet, 40 years old, was reported as mentally unstable and reported missing October 1st, 1990. Kathleen Watley was Robert Pickton's first black victim. She was 39 years old, vanished and reported missing in June of 1992. Catherine Gonzalez, 47 years old, went missing March 1995 and wasn't reported missing until February 1996.
She seems to be the first one that's older.
40, yeah. So, the 47.
47? That's kind of off his track of age.
Yeah. Well, there was Sherry, right? So he did 23, then 43.
23,
So it seems like anywhere between 20 and 50.
Okay.
Catherine Knight was 32 years old, missing, and she was missing 7 months before she was reported missing in November.
Okay.
Dorothy Spence was 36 years old, Indigenous, and she vanished in August of 1995, but her disappearance was reported earlier on October 30th, 1995.
Okay.
Diana Melnick was 23 years old, lost in December, reported missing 4 days after Christmas. Tanya Hollock, 24 years old, missing October 1996, reported in November. Olivia Williams, she was 22 years old. December of 1996 disappearance was ignored until July 1997, so that was ignored by the police.
Nice.
Stephanie Lane, this is our youngest victim so far,
Okay.
20 years old,
Oh, dang.
hospitalized for an episode of drug psychosis, March 1997, released the following day, last seen alive at the Patricia Hotel on Hastings.
20 years old. And already struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Janet Henry survived a near miss. This one's bananas. Janet Henry survived a near miss with the serial killer Clifford Olson in the 1980s.
Okay.
She was drugged but spared by Olson for unknown reasons. Yet she wound up in Low Track a decade later and met another predator. She was reported missing in June 28th, 1997, 2 days after her last contact with relatives. In August of 1987 was the most lethal month to date. 3 women lost, but police wouldn't learn about those cases for more than a year. Marnie Frey was 25 years old and was not reported missing until September 4th, 1998. Helen Hallmark went missing September 23rd and was 32 years old.
Which victim is this? Number... did you already say her name?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is number... Okay, wait. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like 16 or 17.
Okay.
Jacqueline Murdoch was 28. She was not reported missing until October 3rd, 1998. Detectives still have no idea when or where all of these women have vanished. So, like, I can appreciate that there's a large influx of precarious people, and that we don't have a lot of research about addiction, let alone sensitivity training for police. This was the era of just say no to drugs, when in reality drugs were largely impacting and morphing our society into what it will become today.
And the people saying say no were probably on drugs themselves.
That's right.
There's a good chance.
The police of Vancouver could have really made a lot of headway in this department for areas.
The police of Vancouver were probably making money off of...
Yeah, getting kickbacks.
Yeah, exactly. So
Fair
correct.
enough. Okay, we have some more. Cindy Beck was 33 years old, disappeared September 1997, reported April 30th, 1998. Andrea Borehaven vanished 1997, but no one told police until May of 1999. Carrie Koski disappeared January 1998, was reported at the end of that month. Jacqueline McDonald, 23 years old, disappeared mid-January 1998, reported missing February 1999. Inga Hall was 46 or 47, was last seen alive February 1993, and her disappearance was reported March 3rd, 1993. Sarah Jane DeVries, 29 years old, last seen alive April 1998, reported missing the same day. And Sheila Egan was 20 years old, vanished July 1998, reported August of that year. The official search for Vancouver's missing women began in September of 1998, only after an Indigenous group sent police a list of victims allegedly murdered in Vancouver's downtown east side with a demand for a thorough investigation.
Wow.
The police claimed that the list was flawed, as some of the victims had died of disease or drug overdose. Others had left Vancouver and were found alive. Detective Dave Dixon started his own investigation.
Okay.
He wrote a second list of women who had gone missing from Low Track, and there were enough names on that list to worry him and inspire his superiors to create an investigative task force. Police were trying to decide if they had a serial killer at large in Vancouver. I mean, by this point, it would be like, guys, I think there's something going on here.
Yeah. Oh, my God. The obliviousness.
Yeah. And one person who thought so was Kim Rosmo.
Okay.
Kim Rosmo is the creator of a geographic profiling technique designed to... Yeah, right. And it's designed to map unsolved crimes and highlight any pattern or criminal signature overlooked by detectives assigned to individual cases.
Dang.
So in May of...
That is so impressive.
Right? So in May of 1999, Rosmo reported an unusual concentration of disappearances in downtown Vancouver's east side.
Wow.
And police, guess what? Guess what they did? They dismissed the notion.
Yes.
Insisting...
Go cops, go.
Right, insisting the vanished women may have left Vancouver voluntarily.
Yeah, that's what they did. I mean, like...
Definitely.
That's what they did. With what means of, like...
Yeah, with what means?
With what means? Are you coming up with that as a possibility?
They just left.
Rosmo
stood by his theory after he was demoted. And then he left the police force. With no body, crime scene, or even specific dates of disappearances, forensic evidence was non-existent.
Wow.
And I do have some more names here. Julie Young was 31 years old, last seen alive October 1998, and was reported missing in June 1999. Angela Jardine was a 28-year-old addict and had the mental capacity of a 10-year-old. She had been a sex worker in Low Track for at least 8 years, and she vanished in November 1998 and was reported missing in December of 1998. Michelle Gurney was 30 years old. She dropped out of sight in December 1998 and was reported missing the same month. And Marcella Creason was 20 years old, got out of jail December 27th, 1998, but never returned to the apartment where her mother and boyfriend were preparing a belated Christmas dinner. Isn't that so sad?
Christmas makes it so much worse.
I know. Police learned of her disappearance on January 11th, 1999. So officially, this vile piece of human garbage has only 6 victims he's convicted of killing. He's charged with killing 27, but confessed to murdering 49. Of the 26 disappearances officially linked to Pickton, one occurred in 1995, one in 1996, 6 in 1997, 4 in 98, 5 in 99, 2 in 2000, and 7 in 2001. Many missing women were not officially linked to Pickton due to a lack of evidence.
That's the craziest thing. Is like, not the craziest thing, but it is crazy when you think of like conviction or investigation not being able to be, no, not investigation, edit that out. But it's like conviction, it takes so much, even though
to get a conviction.
Evident. Like proof, it's not solid evidence, therefore it's essentially tossed out.
Yeah, or if like, you know, the cases where the defense makes it so you can't speak on a certain subject, that's like key evidence that
key evidence,
and the jury's not allowed to hear it. They're just like not
or
allowed
like
to know.
There's multiple witness reports, but because there's no solid proof, even though there's like 10 witness reports and these witnesses don't know each other and are saying the same thing, maybe it's like a little bit accounted for, but because there's no actual solid evidence to back it up, in the end, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that is like, how many people have been able to walk free?
So many.
Yeah.
So many. And like, he could have been caught earlier.
Like, I'm pretty sure I even saw on our own, like, public forums of like reintroduction of sex offenders, you know, just being like, it was like a warning, like warnings of sex offenders being reintroduced into society, even though their crimes are so horrific that
it's like, get the addicts out of jail.
Yeah, it's like, I just don't understand.
Get the sex workers out of jail.
Yeah, but like a sex offender causing a horrific pain.
Yeah,
or even, you know,
there should be no reintroduction
after a short amount of time.
Yeah, no, that's
and like what
bananas.
The public gets is a warning.
Yeah, just to let you know,
you could go to Sobeys tomorrow and see so and so.
You're like, lovely.
Yeah. I have children. That's great.
That's great. I'll bring my best bat.
Anyways, it's just insane.
It is insane.
Our what do they say? Our justice system is just a system.
Yeah. Oh, I've never heard that. I like that. It's just a system.
It's flawed.
It's very flawed. Yeah. Okay, so I found this article sort of like describing it's Pickton describing how he killed women.
Okay.
So a former friend, and this is an article from CBC News. I'll put it in the show notes, and I'll put all my sources in the notes as well. A former friend of Robert Pickton. And this is written like current time. So a friend of Robert Pickton at some point in time testified at the Supreme Court in BC that the accused killer told him in graphic detail how he killed prostitutes and fed their bodies to pigs.
Okay.
Andrew Bellwood, who lived on Pickton's farm for a short period of time in 1999, told the court about one night in March 1999 that Pickton suggested they go get a prostitute.
As if it's like
let's just go pick one up.
Like a Slurpee from 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Let's go get one.
No, after Bellwood refused, he said that Pickton asked him, "Do you know what I do with prostitutes?"
What does one do?
Bellwood said what happened next was like watching a play. He said Pickton reached under his mattress and pulled out handcuffs and a belt and a wire. He described putting the sex workers on their stomachs on the bed and having sex with them, Bellwood testified. Then Bellwood said Pickton, who was kneeling on the bed at the time, gestured as if stroking a woman's hair. Ugh.
That's gross.
He told the court that Pickton said he would handcuff the woman and tell them it was going to be okay, that everything was all over now. Oh, the terror these women must have felt.
Yeah, probably restrained, knowing that there's a good chance that they can't escape.
Yeah.
And hearing, oh my God, I can't. Gives me my hair on the back of my neck.
Right.
Hopefully not a lot of hair on the back, but it's standing up right now.
He testified Pickton said he would then reach under the mattress and grab a piano wire or belt, then strangle the woman. Bellwood testified Pickton said he would take the body to the slaughterhouse and bleed and gut them.
Oh my God.
Ugh. He commented on how much they bled, Bellwood said. He kept telling me, "Oh, you know how much they bleed. You wouldn't believe how much blood comes out of a person." Bellwood said Pickton then told him he would feed the body to the pigs, and whatever wasn't eaten, he would place in large barrels destined for a Vancouver rendering plant.
Okay.
Gross.
That's disgusting.
No, thank you, Mr. Pickton.
Was this before the parties where he would, like, what happened to just feeding them to the pigs?
This would have been during the parties.
During the parties.
During the
right. But
yeah.
like, did he not just toss the bodies into the pit?
He fed them to the pig.
Every last bit of them. But he's saving something.
So he bled them and he gutted them, and then fed them to the pigs.
Pigs, yeah.
Because pigs will eat everything.
Everything and anything, yeah.
You know.
That's crazy.
So I looked at some, like, and I think I have this link. I'll add the link in the show notes. I looked at, like, some pictures of, like, the pig farm, and I just, like, made some notes about some of them. So
I've seen aerial footage.
Yeah. But then there's, like, some inside from the investigation. So there's a kitchen in the trailer looking into the laundry room, where police found a loaded .22 caliber revolver with a dildo attached to the barrel.
Oh, God.
Oh, I know, right? The Crown says the dildo bore the DNA of Mona Wilson and Robert Pickton.
Oh, my God.
The Crown also said a pillowcase with Andrea Joesbury's DNA was found on it in this room. Okay, so Pickton's cluttered office, prominently displayed on the wall, is a stuffed head of his pet horse, Goldie. Oh, God. Like, I wonder if he taxidermied that himself.
I was just going to say.
Yeah. Photos of the interior of a trailer parked on Pickton's farm. The blood of Mona Wilson was found inside.
Okay. What else would he, like, what else would he maybe wish that he could taxidermy and put on as well? Like, yeah, I just always think, I always go beyond what we should really think and just creep myself out that way.
Okay, so we're on to the arrest and trial.
I love this part. I love the conviction.
Right, let's get it.
If there is one. Which there is.
There is.
Right,
in February of 2002, so we were just like,
yeah.
2002.
2002, we were like 12.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't have said.
That's okay.
Now that you all know.
A former truck driver for the Pickton family told the RCMP that he had seen illegal guns in Pickton's home. The police were able to get a search warrant. Finally. On February 5th, officers raided the pig farm. They found several illegal and unregistered guns. They also found items linking missing women to the property. They found women's clothing and shoes, jewelry, and an asthma inhaler prescribed to Serena Abbotsway, a missing woman. The blood of another, Mona Wilson, was found in a motorhome on the farm. On February 22nd, 2002, Pickton was rearrested and charged with 2 counts of murder. A total of 26 murder charges were laid against him.
26?
26.
Okay.
But he, anyway.
Yeah.
Earlier, as I said, he, admits to 49.
Okay.
While Pickton was being held in jail in Surrey, Vancouver, he shared a cell with an undercover... He shared...
Tongue twisters.
He shared a cell. That is a tongue twister. Try it. Shared a cell.
She shared a cell down by the seashore.
I like that. He shared a cell with an undercover RCMP officer. Pickton thought the officer was another detainee, and he told the officer he had murdered 49 women and that he had wanted to make it 50.
Side note, I feel like that's very dangerous. I hope that RCMP officer got paid well for that.
Yeah, me too.
It was very,
Did you get
very
danger
dangerous.
pay?
Right?
Yeah. So while he was admitting that, the pig farm became the largest crime scene in Canadian history.
Wow.
Police took 200,000 DNA samples. 200,000.
That is insane.
That's insane. Heavy equipment was used to sift through 380,000 cubic yards of soil in search of human remains, and the cost was nearly $70 million.
Wow.
Pickton's trial on the first 6 charges began January 22nd, 2007.
Okay.
We were almost in high school by then.
That's insane.
On December 9th, I feel like I remember this happening. I feel like I remember talking about it in law class.
100% we did.
I knew it. On December 9th, 2007, Pickton was found guilty by a jury imagine being the jury at that trial, man.
I mean,
he was found guilty on 6 counts of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison. He was granted no chance of parole for 25 years.
Have you ever done jury trial?
No, have you?
No. I don't know why I thought about that. No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, I've always heard people don't want to do it. I would love to do it.
Yeah.
Why not? But then you think about the case like the Carla Homolka and Paul Bernardo case, and it's like that traumatized members of our community.
Yeah, there's definitely trauma. But then it's like you could get one for like the most
funny thing.
Not even funny, just like the most like oh my God, how many more hours am I in this for?
Yeah. Like if it was anything to do with numbers, I'd be screwed.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my God, I can't even follow this.
Right?
So Pickton, as I said, claimed to have killed 49 women, but he was only charged with the murders of 26, who were identified with evidence found on the farm.
Okay.
Crown prosecutors thought they might try Pickton on the other 20 charges, but they later decided not to because Pickton's punishment was already the maximum possible. So in the United States, you can do like multiple life sentences and it'll be like 3,000 years.
Right.
Not actually. It's like 150 years or whatever.
Yes.
But we don't do that.
No.
Where it's like a maximum 25 years without parole or life without parole.
Yes.
In 2010, a BC, British Columbia government inquiry began, and its goal was to examine how the Pickton case was handled by authorities.
Okay.
The inquiry issued its final report titled Forsaken.
Wow.
In December of 2012. The report said that blatant failures by police had led to a tragedy of epic proportions.
Okay.
The failures included inept investigative work, as well as prejudice against sex workers and Indigenous women.
Ding, ding, ding.
Thank you. The inquiry issued 63 recommendations. Among them were the creation of a Greater Vancouver police force to make police cooperation more unified, adequate funding for emergency shelters, and compensation for the children of missing women.
How has that gone so far, though?
Right.
I want to know that.
I would like to know the status of that, too.
Yeah.
The Vancouver Police Department made many changes to the way it searches for missing persons.
Has it? I want to know that, too.
The Missing Persons Unit is now a regular part of the police department. Investigations are begun without delay. Family members are advised and consulted before the release of information, and the case file is kept open until the missing person is located.
Okay.
And I have one more thing to tell you about Sir Robert Pickton. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
On May 19th, on May 19th, 2024, Robert Pickton was attacked at a maximum security prison in Quebec. A 51-year-old fellow inmate stabbed Pickton in the head with a broken broom or broom-like handle. The 74-year-old Pickton was put in a medically induced coma. He died on May 31st.
Crazy.
Thank you, 2024.
Why, right?
Thank
that's
you.
Like one good thing. I think that's why it was brought up at a more recent family get-together. Well, it was a get-together because of something sad, but they were BC family members that came down to where we are. And I think that's why it was brought up in conversation because
he died.
Because he died.
Yeah.
And they were going on about how they partied at his parties.
At the Good Time Piggy Palace or whatever.
At the Good Time Piggy Palace. A number of times.
Wow.
Knew him quite well on a personal level.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And did you ask them questions?
Well,
did you know? Did you have any idea?
Well, they had no idea. They knew. They said he was really weird.
Yeah.
He said he was really weird.
Well, that tracks.
And there were so many people.
You should ask them
parties.
if he drank or anything. You should get him to think about that.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's fine. Like they what did they say? Well, we talked about how there was a good chance that you ate the pigs that contained humans, and they were like, no doubt, because they were like, we all indulged in like the, pig roast.
Yeah.
And a couple of them met there, like that are happily together now. It's just crazy.
Imagine. That's a story for the kids.
Right.
Oh, we met at the Piggy Palace Good Time party. The Pickton Party Palace place. Yeah,
it was like, it must have been like a small world moment there, probably. afterwards, knowing like you were there, I was there, like we didn't even know each other. And then other people who were like, yeah, like we met there, we started dating afterwards. But then all of them being like, we knew them, they were really weird, or like he was weird, Robert was weird. And we did in fact eat the pig. And now we know what the pigs ate. And it's just bizarre thinking back to that.
That is bizarre. I would hope they just blocked that out.
Actually, on another side note, one of the family members also said how I don't know if we should edit this out. They went to prison and actually would come in from being on the yard and see Paul Bernardo walking around in his like double blocked off cell. It was like it wasn't plexiglass, but it was like a cell within a cell.
Yeah.
And they would just see him walking laps in this little cell because he had nothing else to do. He
nothing
wasn't allowed
to do.
And they would like
and you shouldn't be allowed anything
no.
to do.
But it's crazy. Like imagine being in prison at that time when like another serial killer of another Canadian
90s
once rapist started off rapist.
Oh yeah, and you know what?
Or strangler.
No, rapist.
Yeah.
And you know what? When it comes to Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka, that'll be an episode I want to do down the line because that is personal to us.
Right. Oh yeah, that's. I mean, yeah.
Just so you listeners know, that's how Canadian we are.
Yeah.
You know,
very Canadian.
All right. Well, that was the first episode of Canadian Creepies. I'm your host, Val, or Valerie.
And I'm Al. Thanks for supporting us on our first episode endeavor into this creepy world that we're about to embark on.
The creepy world of Canada. Everybody thinks we're nice until we're not.
Till we're nice.
Till we're creepy.
Till we're nice.
Till we're not.
Till we're not. Good night, I was going to say.
Till we're night. Yeah. You can follow us on Instagram at Canadian Creepies and, do all that good stuff.
Like, share, and follow if you'd like to hear more of our wacky takes on
creepy stuff.
Yeah, creepy stuff.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Don't
love
get
you lots.
Love you lots. Don't get creeped out.
Don't get creeped out.
See you next time.
Don't let the bed creeps bite. Bye-bye.
Thank you to Kyle McDonald for editing and composing our theme song.